Hi there, Rick here. So I opened up my MSN map this morning. Okay. Um, I looked at the price of gold here. Okay, it's up $54.70. You see it right there, right? Okay. Now look at silver. Okay, it's jumped up what 82 cents. Okay, 2.13%. Okay. Right now it's at $39 and 28 cents. Okay, that is a new high for this year. Okay, because I looked at the 1 year chart on it, and so in my previous videos I made a prediction that was gonna break $40 soon. Okay, and it looks like that prediction is playing out. Okay, it's roughly about what 72 cents away from $40, so that's not that much. Okay, you have to remember overnight, or over the weekend, it jumped 82 cents, right? It could easily jump, what is it, 72 cents in 1 day. Okay, and then hit $40. Okay. um I was gonna say that I think $40 is kind of like a resistance point. Okay. Once when it breaks $40, people are going to start looking at it more closely. Okay. There might even be a frenzy of people, going out and buying silver just because, it's hit a, what is it? Um, I don't think it's gone over $40 since the 1980s, around 1982, 1983, right? Um, it's gonna People are gonna really start to take notice of it. Okay. Um, Another amazing thing too. Okay, sometimes I like um, talking to the old timers. Okay, I remember talking to this man. Um, we were just talking about gold, and then he told me he remembered gold when it was like $35 an ounce. And I said, wow, you remember gold was like $35 an ounce. But then he didn't look that young anymore. Okay, but you have to remember, okay, if he bought what, 10 ounces of gold at $35 an ounce, um, he would have been what, thousand, sorry, um, he would be $34,000 richer. Yeah, that much, um, that wealthy. Okay, just from 10 ounces of gold. Okay. Um, so I make another prediction. Um, well, it's just the same prediction again. Okay. Silver is gonna break $40 very soon. Okay. Um, Another thing too. Okay, the banks that are shorting it. Okay. Um, they're losing lots of money by shorting it. Okay, and I think what's going to happen is that they're just going to throw in the towel. Okay. Um, you could see, okay, after when they stop shorting it, okay, it's going to just explode from there. Okay, like it's going to shoot straight up. You're going to maybe see what, some consolidation at certain price points, but there's going to be no pullback. Okay. Um, the reason why I say that is because um, when you have the eight largest banks, trying to short it, okay, yeah, sure, they're pulling it back, but if they get out of that, okay, um, I can't see anybody else trying to short it. It's just too dangerous, right? Because imagine that, okay, you're trying to short it, and then you get caught in a short squeeze, right? Um, you, I'll talk about GameStop. There was a large hedge fund trying to short GameStop, okay? I heard that for every $10 movement up, okay, they were losing $1 billion, okay? I'll say it again, they were losing $1 billion, okay? So it went all the way up to $500, okay? So, you know, how many billions of dollars did they lose? I heard that Congress, they had to get involved just because um, there was some talk about it, you know, causing a market crash, right? Um, and then there was a lot of what was it? I saw, you know, a lady a Congress lady, you know, she was kind of like somebody was interviewing her, and you know, you could tell that she was quite angry, okay, because you know, Congress had to get in and fix this problem, okay. Um, Pretty exciting. You know, once when silver breaks $40, okay, and then I think I don't think it would take that much time to make it to 45 and then to $50, okay, and you know, once when it breaks what $50, okay, people will start talking about the Hunt brothers, okay, because they brought it to $50, the Hunt brothers, okay. This was the early 1980s, okay. So, you know, imagine the amount of people that will start talking about it. You know, once when it reaches $50 or breaks $50, you know, um, there'll be tons of people, lots of YouTubers talking about it. You know, not since the Hunt brothers has silver gone this high, you know. And like I say, I think there will be some consolidation, okay, but there will be no pullbacks in silver once when it um, probably reaches, I would say, $50, okay, because the seven largest banks in the world, okay, um, they'll just be too scared to short it, okay, because you know, look what happens if you get caught in a short squeeze. You could lose billions and billions and billions of dollars. You have to remember these banks do not have unlimited cash, okay? The Federal Reserve does, okay? But these large banks, yeah. Once when they start losing billions and billions of dollars, um, it could was it? It just causes a lot of stress in their books, okay? They have to start, you know, moving money around, maybe, you know, restructuring their books, right? Um, you have to remember, banks are still in the business of making money, right? Um, you know, once when they start losing billions of dollars, okay, um, you know, I could see them stop shorting it, okay. You know, they could probably invest that money somewhere else, okay, to, you know, make money, of course, right? But, you know, why invest in silver anymore, you know, if you're losing billions of dollars, right? Doesn't make sense. MSN Money app this morning, okay? And well, you can see that, okay, gold did not retract, um, you know, last night. It went up another $37.30. Okay, now it's $3,442.20. It's a movement of 1.05% overnight. Okay, so it looks like it's going for well, it's gonna break 3,500 again. Okay, silver did not retract. Okay, remember I told you uh yesterday, okay, it was $39.27, okay, now it's $39.49, so it's only what, 51 cents away from breaking $40 now, okay, it's up 0.41%, okay. I wouldn't be surprised if silver breaks $40 this week, okay? You have to remember, it's still early in the week. It's only, what, Tuesday? So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks it on Friday, okay? So I make a prediction, okay? Silver is going to break $40, either hit $40 and go a lot higher than $40, okay, on Friday, okay? Once when it breaks $40, I think there's going to be a lot of people talking about it because I think it's kind of like a milestone mark. You know, it's an even number, right? And I don't think it's broke that price target since what? 1982, 1983. Okay. So we'll see. Okay. We'll see if my prediction plays out. July 22nd. Tuesday. I was just looking at this, what is it here, www.bullionrates.com. Okay. This is a 5-year chart, okay, of the platinum price per ounce. Okay. I just wanted to show it to you so you can see that, okay, over a 5-year period, okay, it pretty well much looked like stayed in a pretty tight range, okay. It did back in what, 2021, okay, it went up to $1,656, okay, in 2021, okay. It did drop, okay, all the way to, well, 1,094. Now it just kind of like consolidated, moved up around the $1,200 mark for quite a long time. And then, okay, on this date, I would say that it's quite important because, you know, it's April 8th, okay, 2025, okay. Something happens on this date because it just shoots up like a rocket, okay. You see that there, okay. Put my mouse pointer on it, see. It had a low of about, what, 1,276, and then in April 14th, and then it shoots up like a rocket, okay, to $2,027, okay. You see that there? I was gonna say that, you know, that's quite a bit. That's like a $700 movement right there, right? And, you know, if you were to ask me, okay, is something happening in platinum right now, right? I would say yes, okay, just from seeing a $700 movement, okay. It can go down, okay. It can also consolidate, and then it can also continue to shoot right up, okay. I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to shoot right up, okay. I've seen it in other you know, other charts as well. Maybe not necessarily precious metals, but I've seen it in other charts, sometimes other companies, okay. The stock just shoots right up. But there was obviously, I was going to say, a very big player in it because I heard that China, for example, okay, they were buying up platinum, okay. They don't really have a use for it, but I think sometimes they just buy it as an investment because it's it was a metal that what was it? So it was this precious metal that was just a lot lower, okay. You're talking about $1,200, right? And, you know, if China bought, say, for instance, lots of platinum, right? You know, they're up, what, $700 per ounce. That is huge, okay? Because I heard that China, for gold, okay, they were buying up gold, okay, but they were buying it directly from the miners, okay. So the gold is not um, even making it to the markets, okay, because China is going directly to the miners, and I think some they're actually buying it kind of like not completely processed yet, okay, and then they bring the ore to back to China, and then they finish processing it there, okay. Um, but if you're going to the miners directly and buying gold, and just to take a guess, I think they're buying lots of gold too, okay. Um, and this gold, like I say, it's not even making it to the market. Um, they're probably skipping out a lot of middlemen involved in the process of gold, so they're getting it for a lot better price than spot. Put it that way, right? Um, if China is buying it directly from miners, okay, what about some other countries? Okay, they realize that, hey, I can buy directly from the miners, and I get it for a lot better price. Um, if other countries start doing that, buying it directly from the miners and not even buying it from the exchanges, because you have to remember the exchanges are charging a premium, right? And now China is bypassing that premium, and they don't have to pay that premium when they buy the gold at the exchange anymore. So I was going to say that that's quite smart on China's part. Okay. Um, it always seems like, okay, when China is doing something, they seem to be always like one step ahead than all the other competition, or uh, one step ahead than a lot of other countries around the world. Okay. So if I heard that China is buying platinum, okay, so maybe China is driving up the price of platinum, okay, and it's in their best interest to make it continue to climb, okay, just because, okay, if they're holding on to lots and lots of platinum, right, it makes sense for them. Hey, let's try to drive up the price of platinum to $10,000 an ounce. Okay, imagine if they sold it at $10,000 an ounce, right? Um, they have like, maybe a few million ounces of platinum, right? I heard that there's not that much platinum around the world. Um, if you were to gather all the platinum around the world, I heard that it'd only fill a room 25 feet wide by 25 feet high. Um, for gold, okay, I heard that, okay, the size of a tennis court. I think it would fill an entire tennis court about 25 feet high. Okay. So, that's not a lot of gold either. Okay. And then Robert Kiyosaki, okay, he said that there's more gold um, that people are holding, okay, than silver. Okay. That's actually quite hard to believe, but um, he was also saying that once when people figure that out, okay, silver could skyrocket in price, okay, because um, silver is an industrial metal. I think as much as 40 to 50% is going towards industrial use and then ending up in landfills, right? Whereas gold, okay, it's there's not that much industrial use for it. It's just when it's mined, okay, it's stored in a safe, right? And it just gets accumulated, right? Whereas silver, it's getting eaten up, okay, in the industrial uses of it. So and then Mexico, okay, where a lot of silver is mined, okay, um, heard some news that they weren't issuing, I think, any new permits to mine silver. I don't know why, okay, but I think maybe it has something to do with the environment. Maybe they're just worried about their environment, okay? They want to scale back on mining silver, or maybe they want the price of silver to go up in price, right? Because if less silver makes it to the market, okay, then it makes sense that okay, it'll go up, right? So yeah, I just wanted to show you this chart because um, this seems like okay, this is the beginning of a cycle of a bull market in precious metals.